It is Game 4 of the American League Championship Series between the Astros and the Yankees, and it is do-or-die time for the Yanks. Nestor Cortez is on the mound, and he's looking to keep the Yankees season alive. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is Yankees Game Night. That's all, folks. And just like that, it was all over. So before we get to the final recap of the 2022 season, I wanted to extend a thank you to all of you who have tuned in every night all season. I think it's about the 167th Yankees game that we've done a recap for this year. It took a couple of Sundays off. But I've seen some of you after every single game, and I appreciate it. I would also like to offer congratulations to the back-to-back American League champion Houston Astros. They played great. Let's be good sports and congratulate them. They played great. There's a solid chance that this was Aaron Judge's final game as a New York Yankee. It's a solid chance that it was Aaron Boone's final game as Yankee manager. Perhaps Brian Cashman's final game as Yankees GM. But it should be a good World Series. The Phillies are unconscious right now. After winning 87 games during the regular season, they are red hot at the right time. And if the Astros think they're going to walk right over the Phillies, they might be in for a surprise. We have seen teams do what the Phillies are doing right now. Ronnie with the big dono. Ronnie, a contributor all year. Appreciate it. Ronnie. We saw the Cardinals. They won 83 games in 2006, I think it was. And then the 2003 Marlins were under 500. Both of those teams came back and won the World Series. So these from out of nowhere type of teams can be very dangerous in the playoffs. They get the right momentum. One thing that Derek Jeter always said was great about being a Yankee, and it applies to being a Yankee fan as well, is that you never really know when the last day of the season is. But that also makes the ending sometimes more sudden and more upsetting. And the 2022 Yankees have been felled. Red hot start. A lot of comeback wins, a lot of walk-off victories, historic 62 home run season from Aaron Judge. But unfortunately, the offseason begins ahead of schedule. A quick content announcement. I just released my prediction for 5 Yankees who won't be back next year. That was my most popular video last year. And then we've got the postmortem coming out, hopefully within the hour, right after we finish up the live stream. So I was working heavily on that tonight, and we will make it live as soon as I feel like it's proofed and ready. So hopefully when you wake up in the morning, it'll be out. Also, before the game, there was a report that the Yankees were being sent comeback footage of the 2004 Red Sox to get ready for tonight's game. Watching highlights of the Red Sox beat the Yankees. The team psychologist was sending this around. Who is the team psychologist? Hannibal Lecter? That is demented. Does nobody have a copy of Rocky IV or a DVD of Remember the Titans or Rudy? Come on. Things actually got off to a pretty good start tonight. Nestor Cortez got a call off the outside corner to get a strikeout of Altuve to begin the game. Worked a scoreless first. I was thinking, hey, maybe, just maybe, the baseball gods were on our side tonight. Bader led off the game with a base hit on a curveball. First base hit on a curveball in over 15 years for the Yankees. Stanton got a line drive to right field that put the Yankees on the board. That made it 1-0. You're seeing it on your screen there. Gleyber blooped one in. That made it 2-0. IKF doubled to lead off the bottom of the second. But later in the inning, Judge walked and Rizzo doubled down the left field line to make it 3-0. So 5 hits through the first 2 innings for the Yankees. Or in other words, 2 more than they had in all of Game 2. Looked like they were taking an opposite field approach tonight. I liked that. And it proved to be effective earlier in the game. But once they fell behind, it was a lot more of the same of swinging for the fences. Nestor Cortez had some trouble in the third. After a walk, the trainer came out and asked Nestor Cortez if he was hurt. And he said he was fine. And this was a key time when you really want to tell the truth. If you're at all feeling any kind of pain, you got to come out of the game there. Stayed in the game, gave up a walk, and a 3-run home run to Jeremy Pena. And then Nestor left the game with an injury. I appreciate the guts. I appreciate the heart, but his stuff was clearly less effective. Fastball velocity was down. Breaking ball was hanging. And he just didn't have it after that, after the groin began to hurt. Final line, 2 innings, 2 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Wandy Peralta came in. Astros picked up a few more hits and went ahead 4-3. Bottom 4, Yankees strike back. Harrison Bader and Anthony Rizzo, those guys both had good nights. They each picked up their second hit of the game, and that tied it up at 4. Loaizaga came in. He was absolutely filthy tonight. It's as filthy as I've seen Loaizaga all year, really. I mean, he was phenomenal, just destroying bats. Bottom 6, Lord Bader, Harrison Bader, 5th home run of the postseason for him. He had 5 with the Cardinals all season. I mean, granted, he was injured for part of the season, but unbelievable postseason for him. We got to give him a round. We usually don't do sound effects for losses, but we got to give Harrison Bader a round of applause for what he has done. We got a couple of comments come in. A reminder to hold your super donos until we can get through the recap, but I'll go through and save these so I can read them when we're done. Top 7, Yankees almost got out of the inning with a tailor-made double play, but it was botched. And some people are going to blame IKF. Some people are going to blame Gleyber. Gleyber got the error according to the scorebook. At first, when I watched it, and maybe it was aided by the announcer who said, "Bad flip by Gleyber." At first, I blamed Gleyber. I even tweeted that. But watching it on replay a few times as I was looking at the highlights, probably could have been caught. IKF probably should have caught that ball. If only we had a good defensive shortstop in the game. Ended up being a humongous play. Yordan Alvarez singled in the tying run, and then Bregman singled in the go-ahead run. And that was the fatal blow. And I'll tell you, the Astros will just kill you if you give them extra outs. They just annihilate you if you give them extra opportunities. They are relentless. It's actually kind of impressive. Yankees went quietly in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and Aaron Judge, perhaps in his final game as a Yankee, bounced out to end the inning in the 9th, to end the series, to end the season, and the Astros complete the sweep. All right, I'm going to go ahead and read these 3 donations I got here. Tim Woodward, thanking me for the coverage. I thank you for being here so often and helping this channel become what it's become. Appreciate that. Madik says, tonight's game played out like one of those prisoner movies. Guy gets on a new trial, gets an appeal granted, and it looks like something good might happen for him, but in the end, they get the needle. Yikes. And then Stone Cold says, no more excuses, no more bringing 2017 and 2019 into the mix, 100%. Thank you for the dono. Look, the Astros are legitimately a fantastic ball club. I mean, we have to really give them credit. They played their asses off. They came into a hostile environment over the last 2 nights and won. I mean, they just had a great season. And it's going to be interesting to see how they match up with a red-hot Phillies team. Bryce Harper, we talked about him yesterday. He is playing out of his mind. He hit a home run to win the pennant today. He's unreal. Dappa guy, I don't even try to pronounce that, says he really wants to see the Phillies bomb the Astros. Me too. I would be a big fan of that. Jesus Vega says, appreciate you, appreciate it. Highs and lows, thank you for being here. Nick Coleman says, getting rid of Matsui was stupid. That was what, 2009? 14 years ago, I don't think Matsui would have factored in today. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I would have kept Matsui for another year. He was willing to come back. He still had one more pretty good year. I think he hit 28 home runs that next season. But Damon also was gone after that season. And since then, the Yankees have been too right-handed. Those were two big lefty bats. And since then, they just haven't had the same kind of threat from the left side of the plate. Visual Connection says, Yankees played a bit better today, but it wasn't enough. Overall, I've seen way more energy from teams like the Phillies, where the Yankees have pretty much looked lifeless.
I hardly agree.
Izzy says, thank you for all you do. Until next year. I'm still deciding if I want to do next year. I haven't announced that yet, if I'm going to do live recaps after every game next year. I haven't decided. I've done it now 3 years in a row. The channel's big enough that I might want to go in some different directions. I haven't decided yet, but my hope is that I'll definitely, have some kind of really good content next year. Probably do, recaps after most wins, but I don't know if we're going to do every single game next year. Some of the losses are tough, especially if we go into rebuilding mode. If Judge leaves and the team starts to rebuild, I'll probably just get on and do like wins next year. That's kind of where I'm leaning, but it's been a ton of fun. Chesko says, fire him, fire them, let Judge walk. Well, tell us how you really feel. Why this comment got so big here. Let me just lock that so it doesn't change size. Daryl Leon says, let Judge go. Can't add more millionaires that don't perform when it counts. Look, people are, I think, being disproportionately tough on Judge. You got to have some protection around him, or else they're really not going to give him much to hit. He didn't get a lot to hit this series. He hit a couple of home runs against the Guardians, and you don't get here without Judge. I mean, I'm going to defend Aaron Judge till the day I die. I think he had a historic season. He gave me the summer of my life in terms of a single player. You'd like to end with a victory. You'd like to come out on top at the Canyon of Heroes, but that doesn't happen very often. 15 teams now. There's a shout out to Frankie Baseball. He had a tweet. 15 teams have made it to the World Series since the Yankees last made it. And that should be unacceptable to the Yankees. I think it'll be interesting to see if the Yankees choose to bring Brian Cashman back, if they choose to bring Aaron Boone back. Aaron Boone's under contract, but he had a lot of problems in this series. I made a video this morning about, my opinion that the Yankees should let him go. And to me, it comes down to a few different things. One, what the hell is he doing with Clark Schmidt in the postseason? I mean, he overused Clark Schmidt. He used him like he was a freaking dominant middle reliever. And Clark Schmidt is a kid. Yeah, he's got good curveball spin rate. But that's about it. Doesn't really know where the ball's going. And then the miscommunications with the players. Now it was Clay Holmes in Game 3 of the ALDS. And then in game, what was it? The first game that Harrison Bader hit leadoff. I can't remember. Harrison Bader didn't know he was hitting leadoff until he saw it in a tweet from somebody. And then when they asked Boone about it, he threw Bader under the bus. He said, everybody gets emailed the lineup. Some people are just more diligent about looking at it. How about posting the lineup? How about talking to him and being like, hey, bud, you're in the leadoff spot today for the first time this season. Good luck. Here's what we're expecting. I mean, for crying out loud. What a rough ending to what initially started off as a great year. Peter DeRosa wants to trade Josh Donaldson. I'm not sure you'll be able to get much for Josh Donaldson. That might be one of those situations where you've just kind of eat the contract, got to kind of just look at it as a sunk cost, a bad investment. Now, I get it. He played some pretty good defense this year, but I can't stand watching the big leg kick and the flailing on every breaking ball and always coming up empty. Let's see here. Truth always says Philly all the way. 100% agree. Alan Jones says Mariano Rivera for manager. I don't think Mariano Rivera would be a good manager. I think he was just one of those people who was an amazingly talented and unique unicorn of a baseball player. He had a pitch that was unhittable, but I mean, he used to nap for the first few innings of the game. Ideally you would like a catcher, a former catcher, to be a manager, because catchers, they have to be in the game. They have to call the pitches. They have to understand what the hitters are doing in the box. They have to understand the running game. They have to understand umpires and the relationships with umpires. Hi, 1237 says Gardner will be back. Oh, man. We've been hearing that all year. AP says exit Judge and get Ohtani. That's part of my postmortem that you guys can watch. I went into a little bit of depth about that. Ohtani's a guy who he wants to be on a winning team, but he doesn't necessarily want to play on the East Coast. He had a chance to come to the East Coast. He could have played for the Yankees. He could have played for the Red Sox. Rays wanted him. Everybody wanted him. Ended up on the West Coast. And I think that's where he's happy. But I think he'll end up with, a team like the Dodgers. Maybe the Giants. Could see him going to the Mariners. You doubt they would trade him within the division, but if he becomes a free agent, you could see him signing with the Mariners. Richard Lewis with the dono. Appreciate it. Says IKF and Donaldson need to be gone and stay gone. Hope the Phillies smoke them big time, and thanks for the season. Thank you, Richard Lewis. Appreciate it. Sean Dooley says Mattingly for the new manager. That's one I've seen a lot on social media the last few days. Look, I'm a big Mattingly guy. You're not going to find a bigger Don Mattingly fan than me. He is available. He's got some managerial experience now. He's never won anything. But, I think back on Joe Torre. Joe Torre had never won anything when he came to New York. He had never won. The headline in the Post was, I think, Clueless Joe was what they called him. But he ended up being the right man for the right time. I think Don Mattingly's hitting approach and understanding of hitting would help a lot. Does that make him a better hitting coach than a manager? I don't know. He's probably at the point in his career where he doesn't want to be a hitting coach. He wants to be a manager. He's already managed. He's won a Manager of the Year award, I believe, with the Marlins. Wasn't the right guy for that role, apparently. But if Jeter comes back to the Yankees, I could see Don Mattingly also coming back. That would be like my dream offseason. Get Jeter and get Mattingly involved. Not necessarily as GM and manager, although I've seen that suggested a lot. But just get him involved with the organization. These are great Yankees. I want to see some of the greats come back. Tino is really close with Jeter. I want Tino back in the organization. Brocious is still coaching and managing. I'd love to see Brocious get into the organization at some point. I get these guys weren't studs that hit enormous statistical milestones in Tino and Brocious and guys like that, but they were parts of winners and repeat winners, which is what the Yankees are about, or what they should be about. Rogers wishing condolences on the loss of Joba. In case you missed it, my cat Joba, who's been on the show many times, wonderful cat, once in a lifetime cat. Kevin Windsor says Cashman needs to go ASAP. I do think that this is kind of fruit from the poisonous tree. You know what I mean? That's a legal term, but the philosophy of the organization, right, to build around the home run and to build around sluggers has not worked for over 20 years. 2009 you won, right? But think of all the contact hitters. Jeter hit 330 that year, I think. Cano was an amazing contact hitter. Even A-Rod, I think, hit about, at least 270, 280 that year. I mean, you had a lot more hits on that team. Damon was a good hitter. they had guys who could hit home runs, but they had a lot of good hitters, right? Yankees have some sluggers now. I think Rizzo will get better next year. And I think, you saw what he can do tonight. If he's just trying to put the ball in play, saw him shorten up. IKF spraying the ball down the line. He's a decent contact hitter, but man, the defense just got worse and worse as the season went along. And that whole trade before the year of Donaldson and IKF and Rortvedt, Sanchez was terrible, but Gio Urshela had a pretty good year if you go back and look at it. And Donaldson, decent defense, shell of himself offensively. And Ben Rortvedt did nothing. IKF didn't do a whole lot. So it is what it is. Junior Karoma says Matsui was such a monster. And look, that's a big part of winning, too. You got to have guys that are clutch in the postseason. To me, Harrison Bader, who you're watching right now, he has that clutch gene. And I'm glad that the Yankees picked him up. Sports says, do you think Rizzo, who's older, gets better? So he is definitely getting older, but I think just the elimination of the shift is going to lead to extra points on his batting average. If you look at the analytics, he lost a lot of hits due to the shift. And I know everybody hates analytics right now, but it is useful at telling you some things. He hit a lot of balls into the shift. I think the back is an issue. It's going to continue to be an issue. Would not shock me if he opted out, especially if Judge leaves as a free agent, but I don't think he's going to opt out. Sehaj Doshi wants to pay Judge, DeGrom, Benintendi, and then flip Herman and JD, Hicks, IKF, and Glaber. I would definitely consider trading Glaber Torres. I think his value is at a high point. I get that he's a fan favorite, but you got some kids coming up. If you're asking me what I would do if I were running the team, I would build around Judge. I would give him a big contract, and I would try and build as many kids around Judge as I could. Get Peraza in the lineup next year as your starting shortstop. Get Volpe up by midseason as your starting second baseman. Stick with Oswaldo Cabrera at third base. Let him become a dynamic third baseman. Use DJ LeMahieu as your utility guy. Don't let him play as many games as he played this year. Don't move him around as much. I don't need him playing 6 games a week. Let him play 4 games a week and stay healthy for the postseason. It's 2 years in a row he's gotten hurt. I would try and upgrade at the bullpen. Edwin Diaz is a free agent. He's somebody you got to take a look at. It's not going to be easy for the Yankees to turn this around, but it can be done. They're closer this year than they were last year. Miguel Peralta wants to bring back Gio. Miss Gio. Wayne Burton. Congrats to the Astros. Look, they did a great job. They finished it off. Got to give credit where credit's due. Twig wants Baklavec for manager and Mendoza for hitting coach. Baklavec, she's in single A. I think we got to give her, a few more years to work her way through the minor leagues. But I'm not opposed to one day. I mean, Tampa, all the reports where she did a fantastic job. But honestly, I'm done with rookie managers. If the Yankees do decide to replace the manager, I think you have to go with somebody who's got some veteran experience. I suggested Joe Madden today, and I got eaten alive on Twitter for it. I like Joe Madden. I think he lost a clubhouse, but I think that's more the nature of the players he had and their commitment level than it was him. I mean, he's got a track record as being a great manager. I would consider Don Mattingly. But I don't think that would happen if Cashman remains the GM. I think you got to start with Cashman. And I said this last year. Hal needs to evaluate the entire organization from the ground up. I've had enough of excuses. I've had enough of exit velocity and wind and open roofs. And we coulda. As the old timers say, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, every day would be Christmas. I got one more thing for you tonight before we call it an evening. This is the final roll call of the year, so let's give a shout out to all these Yankees who made. All right, it's time for the 2022 roll call. Number 12, Isaiah Tyner Falefa, the Hawaiian Hustle.
Great hustle.
Number 13, Joey Gallo. Number 14, Marwin Gonzalez. Number 18, Andrew Benintendi. Number 22, Harrison Bader. Lord Bader, welcome to the dark side. Number 24, I drink your milkshake, Matt Carpenter. Number 25, Gleyber Torres. It's Labor Day. Number 26, The Machine, DJ LeMahieu.
I'll be back.
Number 27, Giancarlo Stanton. Number 28, Josh Donaldson. What a great walk-off on opening day. Never forget that. Number 29, Ronald Guzman. And he had kind of a rough tenure with the Yankees, but we'll give him a round of applause anyway. Number 30, Miguel Castro, acquired just before the season. Number 31, Aaron Hicks. Not a great year, but one of the best moments of the year for sure. Number 33, Tim Locastro. Number 34, Michael King. We miss you, big guy. Get well. Number 35, Clay Holmes. And what a revelation this guy was. Number 39, Jose Trevino. Number 40, Luis Severino. Number 41, Miguel Andujar. Number 43, Johnny Lasagna. Jonathan Loizaga. Number 45, Garrett Cole. And we missed this guy, number 47, Jordan Montgomery. Gummy Nation, rise up. Also number 47, Frankie Montas, acquired mid-season. Number 48, Anthony Rizzo. Number 50, free agent to be, Jameson Tyone. Number 53, another free agent to be, Zach Britton. Number 54, the Cuban Missile, Aroldis Chapman. Number 55, Domingo Germán. Really nice bounce back year for him. Number 56, Lou Trevino, acquired at the deadline. Number 57, gone but not forgotten, Chad Green. Get well soon, buddy. Number 58, Wandy Peralta. And number 59, Scott Efros, acquired mid-season. Shane Green. Who forgot about Shane Green? He was back for a minute. Anthony Banda, also number 61. Number 62, Rob Brantley, made a brief appearance. Number 63, Lucas Litke, hardest name on the team to spell. Number 65, Anasty Nestor Cortez Jr. Kyle Higashioka, number 66. Number 68, Manny Banuelos. Number 71, David McKay. I forgot about him. Number 81, Luis the Real Deal Heel, also recovering from Tommy John surgery. Number 85, Ryan Weber. That guy was impressive. Ton of movement. Greg Weissert, number 85. Clark Schmidt, number 86. Number 90, Estevan Florial. Number 91, Oswald Peraza. Gone but not forgotten, number 92, J.P. Sears. Number 95, Oswaldo, the Wizard of Oz, Cabrera. Number 97, making an impressive debut this year, Ron Marinaccio. And last but certainly not least, number 99, Aaron Judge. Shout out to the moderators, PHG, Wicked 50 Cal, Lori C, and Sprinting Water V2. You guys are a huge help. Shout out to my highlight guy, Frankie Baseball. I'm Derek. I thank you very much, and I'll see you next season.